edition of the Business Leadership Masterclass. I'm excited you decided to join us today. Today is the first of the month of May, definitely. I'm optimistic that this month will be very good for you in your business by virtue of the things that you're going to be hearing from the session today. I want to say welcome again, and I'm excited again that you decided to join us. My name is Dr. Joshua Ademowagun. I'm the founder of Leadership in Functional Excellence, popularly known as LIFE. Right? LIFE is a social enterprise focused on developing leaders in the workplace and the marketplace. Our mission is to change the world and shape culture by enabling both individuals and organizations to discover, understand, and function in their purpose in a sustainable way. Our vision is to empower individuals and organizations to become all they were created to be. And we do this through business education, and we do this through advisory, we do this through developing technology platforms that enable people to lead better. Now, this edition of the Business Leadership Masterclass is focused on helping you understand how to attract customers that grow profits, right? BLM in itself is an initiative that helps business people to understand the business concepts that are necessary and relevant to help them to thrive and to help them to do well in their businesses. I remember our goal for this session is to raise businesses that will become market leaders. Is that okay? I've helped a number of businesses do that, and I want to help you achieve that. Now, attracting customers that grow profits, that is the focus of this edition of the Business Leadership Masterclass. I want to start by asking a very important question, a question that I believe every business person should and must ask before they commence. Number one, what is the purpose of a business? What is the purpose of a business? Why do businesses exist? You know, I've heard it being popularly said that when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, right? So let's delve into that subject as we begin to explore how to attract the kinds of customers that will grow your profits as a business. Now, what are the 5 reasons why businesses exist? And I say 5 reasons because I have discovered from my research and from working with businesses across borders, across nations, across countries, both locally and internationally, that if you look at why every business exists, you can practically distill them into 5 major points. So why do businesses exist? Number one, I've discovered that businesses exist to create and deliver value. And this is a very important point. Businesses exist to create and deliver value. The second reason why businesses exist is to maximize profits, right? To maximize profits. Number 3, businesses exist to contribute to the economy. To contribute to the economy. And I'm talking about the economy of nations, the economy of regions, the economy of the world, right? Number 4, businesses exist to promote sustainability. And number 5, businesses exist to drive innovation. Beautiful. So these are the 5 reasons why businesses exist. Now let me start from number 5 as I begin to sort of unravel our conversations today, right? Now, when we talk about businesses existing to drive innovation, right, what are we talking about? Just think about it this way. Imagine if businesses, Microsoft never existed. Imagine if IBM never existed. Imagine if Apple never existed. Imagine if the big brands in the telecoms industry never existed. would we have the advancements in communication that we have today? The answer is no. So you see, businesses existed, and the value they existed to create produced certain products and services that has practically transformed the way the world works. So today, we can practically, a person can wake up in Nigeria and in the next 6 hours be in the United Kingdom, right? In 6 hours. And how? Because a business existed to create something called an aeroplane, right? Or an airplane. That airplane would take the individual from Nigeria to the UK in 6 hours. Now, without that technology existed, what would happen to somebody who was planning to move from Nigeria to the UK? The person would walk, right? Or use a horse. You can imagine how many months it would take the person to achieve what he or she would achieve in 6 hours, because a business exists. So businesses exist to help make innovation possible, right? And then number 4 says businesses exist to promote sustainability. You know, this is one of the big subjects where the existence of businesses is concerned today. There's a lot of conversations around ESG, that's economic, social and governance, policies and the philosophy around that. There are lots of conversations around the triple bottom line. Businesses not only thinking about profits, but also thinking about the planet and also thinking about people, right? There are lots of conversations, around corporate social responsibility, as there is that onus on businesses to take upon themselves and say, you know what, I'm not only going to make money from a community, but I'm also going to give back to that community and ensure that the people in the community live better lives, and whatever, the development and the production of my product or services that is, especially when it's harmful, a part of it is harmful to the community, I'm going to try to reduce that. I'm going to try to mitigate that and ensure that in the way I operate, my business is not only focused on making profits, but also focused on making the environment a better place, okay? So there are lots of conversations around sustainability. So businesses exist to promote sustainability. I said number 3 is that businesses exist to contribute to the economy. I mean, if you look at it, what is the wealthiest nation on the face of the earth today? The answer is simple. Just look at the nation that has the wealthiest businesses, all right? So, and that would be the United States of America. Why? Because every business, as profit is being made, as value is being created, and value is being delivered, one of the byproducts is that there is a contribution to the economy, all right? And both locally and globally, okay? And then businesses, of course, exist to maximize profits, to make money, right? To maximize profit, to make money for the shareholders, right? And that is not a less important purpose. However, what I have discovered is that businesses that focus solely on making profits, right, get to a particular limit, and they tend to be capped at that limit. Okay, I've met business people who, when you have conversations with them, you can realistically say that this person is all about the money. And when the person makes money to a particular extent, you discover that the person loses the steam necessary to move the business to another level, right? The person loses the steam to make that business a great business and not just build a good business, okay? So I would tell you that businesses that do well, businesses that become great, businesses that attract the greatest number of customers exist to do one thing first. And the order is very important. They exist to create and to deliver value first. They understand that their existence must be solving a problem. And that is extremely important. So when you hear the mission and the vision statement of great companies all over the world, what you hear is value first, before profits. And I give you some examples. Think about the Apple Corporation, right? Apple, the Apple company, the guys who make the iPhones and all the likes, right? When you look at their mission statement, what is their mission statement? Their mission statement says they exist to bring the best user experience to customers through innovative hardware, software, and services. And they'll tell you that their vision is to make the best products on earth and to leave the world a better place than they found it. That is the vision and the mission of Apple. Now, when you hear the vision and mission, what are you thinking about? Value. That's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about value before you're thinking about profits. Now, think about it. Amazon, for example. Amazon's mission is to be the earth's most customer-centric company, focusing on delighting customers and making their lives easier through innovative products, services, and ideas, right? Their vision is to be a customer-centric company. That is why Amazon exists. Value, again. I pick another company, right? Now let me pick a company in the FMCG space. Unilever, for example. Unilever says they exist to meet everyone's needs for nutrition, hygiene, and personal care with brands that help people look good, feel good, and get more out of life. What are they talking about? Value. 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 They understand that primarily they exist to create and to deliver value. Every organization that is doing anything great would always talk to you about the value that they create and deliver, because that is the primary purpose of the existence of any business. Now you see, every great company, I'll say it again, right? Every great company would speak to you about the value they create and the value they deliver, because that is the primary purpose of every company. If they get number one right, I can assure you number two would happen. They will maximize profits. Then number three would happen. They will contribute to the economy of the nation, to the GDP of whatever nation that they exist in, right? And number four, they would have to do this deliberately, promote sustainability. And number five would happen. They would drive innovation. So smart business owners do not focus on profit first. They focus on what? Value. Value would always create profits. If you want to write something down, write that down. Value would always create profits. Value would always create profits. So what is value, right? Value is the problem your product or service is solving. That is value. The problem your product or service is solving. So value is the benefit or the gain a customer will derive from using your product. Very important. Now, what is value? Value, again, is the pain a customer would experience if they do not purchase your product or your service. That is the value of the product or service. The pain they would experience if they do not purchase that product or service, right? And you know, Leo Burnett, an advertising executive, said it very rightly. He said, what helps people helps businesses, okay? What helps people helps businesses. Meaning, if anything is of value, it is certainly going to help a business if a business centers its business around that thing of value. You know why? Because people buy to gain or avoid pain. That's why people buy. I mean, if you're trying to sell something in the school of sales, they will tell you that people would always buy benefits and not necessarily futures, right? I mean, you can come and tell people of how brilliant, you know, a particular product is, how brilliant a particular service is. You know, if that service is not providing a gain to them or providing some semblance of a picture of the pain they would experience if they do not purchase that product or service, I can assure you they are not going to buy it. I remember some years back, and I've had my own fair share, many years ago, you know, when I was about to get married, I and my wife sat down, you know, we're thinking about, okay, how do we generate enough income, you know, to not only get married, but, you know, get and get the best products in terms of electronics in the house, and do all of that and settle and live a nice life, go for honeymoon and all of that. And we came up with this brilliant idea, okay, or I should say I came up with this brilliant idea. I'm the one always coming up with the brilliant ideas, right? And sometimes the ideas do not go well. But my wife is extremely supportive. She'll stand by you anyway. She'll say, well, no problems. We'll weather the storm together like she did. And I came up with this brilliant idea that, what? I think, December was approaching. I said people usually give gift cards to each other. So you know what? Let's invest in a gift card company or in building a gift card company. So we started a company, produced thousands of gift cards, expecting that we're going to sell these gift cards. And I had already done all my maths and all the computations around the revenue we're going to get, what the cost of production was, what the profit would be. We had done all of that. The only problem was that I discovered after we developed the gift cards, we had invested a lot of money, in producing these gift cards. Then we discovered that people were not that interested in buying gift cards anymore. Why? Because there was something called social media. So why buy you a gift card when I can send you a WhatsApp message saying Happy New Year or Merry Christmas? And that was how we got into some financial mess. It was not a palatable story. Now, it was, and if you saw our gift cards, well designed, they were beautiful. We called it Desi Harold's, it was beautiful. Beautiful gift cards, nice designs in front of them. We had the red one, we had the black one, we had lots of beautiful, the future was good. But you see, what was the problem? No benefits. The benefits to the customers was very minimal. People were not willing to part away with their hard-earned money in order to buy any of our gift cards. Why? Because people would always buy benefits, not necessarily the future of any product or service that you're offering them, right? People will buy whatever would help them to gain or whatever would help them to avoid pain, okay? Hence, since people would buy based on benefits, people would buy based on the value that they can derive from your product. How much of a problem is your product or service providing or helping them solve? And trust me, profit would always follow value. And this is the interesting part. Who are those that part away with money, right, to help you generate profit based on the value that they see? There's one word we call them, right? Let me take this off. There's one word we call them, and it's a very popular word, right? One word. These are individuals who are called customers, okay? And let me put it this way. Individuals who are called customers. So you have a product or a service that is generating value, right? Now, if this value is seen, right, and it is paid for, it will generate profits. Okay? So, value, profits. However, between value and profits is or are individuals called customers. These people are the people who are going to see the value in your product or service and pay for it and then help you generate revenue, right? Which ultimately will translate to profits for your business at the end of the day, right? So profit is not necessarily an accident. Profit would always follow value, and profit would always be provided to a business by virtue of the customers that they have, the customers that they've attracted, and the customers that they've retained. Okay? Now, someone said it this way, and I really like the line of thought. The person said, profit is the applause you get for taking care of your customers. and for creating a motivating environment for your employees, right? So while you deal with your employees on one hand, and we'll deal with that in another day, right? This profit is the applause you get for taking care of your customers. If you take care of your customers properly, you are going to generate profit, okay? Now, every penny your business will make will come through people, will come through customers. Customers would reward you for the value that they are deriving from your business. Now, Michael Shivak, who is an executive coach, said this. He said, the bottom line obsession comes from turning the pursuit of money into a god and forgetting that the real master of your business serves, are the customers. The real master that your business serves are the customers. Customers, they say, are king, are the kings. They are the kings and the queens. They are the ones who would pay for whatever value your business is generating. They are the ones who would give you revenue. They are the ones who would give you profits. Okay? Now, this is the interesting thing. Today, I had said we'll be considering how to attract these customers. Now, because especially the ones that generate profit, because it's not all customers that generate profit. Okay? So I'm going to be talking to you very briefly on how to attract the customers that would come to you, buy from you, and stay with you. The customers that generate sustainable profit are the customers that you retain, not the customers that necessarily come and buy from you one time. If your customer comes and purchases any product or service from you once, the customer would help your business, absolutely. But you see, I'm talking about how do you attract a customer and retain that customer consistently so the customer keeps coming back. Three very important things that I'm going to talk to you about today. Three very important things. The first way to attract the kinds of customers that grow profits, right, is by, number one, developing a good product or service. By developing a good product or service, that's the very first thing you need to do and to know. You need to develop a very good product and service. Now, why? Because remember where we started from. If your business is not creating value, then it would not attract customers. And if it is not attracting customers, it would not generate profit. It's just simply the way it works, right? So how do you get your business to consistently attract customers? Number one, make sure that your product or your service is good. And what do I mean by it being good? A good product or service is simply a product or a service that generates, creates, and delivers value. A good product or good service is simply a product or service that solves a problem for a customer. So as a business person, what are you consistently looking for and what are you constantly asking yourself? Is my product solving the problems of the people or the customers I want to attract? And maybe I should say this now, right? You see, your product or your service may be solving a problem for a customer now, but in the next 2 weeks, in the next 5 months, in the next year, that product or service might not be solving the customer's problem, and then the customer moves on. Okay? So we must consistently be asking ourselves that question. Is my product and service solving and still solving the problem that my customers have? A good product is a product that effectively meets the need of the customer. A good product or service is not what you think is a good product or service. Remember my story with the greeting cards, right? I thought it was a good product, but you see, my customers did not think it was a good product. So it's not necessarily about what you think. You see, in business, right, you must divulge the way you operate your business from emotions. Sometimes people think about an idea, and I've had people come to me that way and say, you know, Joshua, can you coach me? I have this brilliant idea. And I ask, what is the idea? And by the time they began to talk about the idea, I discovered two things. Either, number one, this idea that they're talking about is a very good dream that they have. It's beautiful. It's perfect. But the question I'm asking myself, I'm not seeing this product solve the problems of people, right? Because already existing, you will discover that there are products that are solving the problems faster, cheaper, easier, and better. I give you an example. I've had someone came to me and said, oh, Joshua, I have this brilliant idea. I said, what is your idea? And the person said, oh, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, just starting a company, and what the company will be doing is to, you know, get blocked water to people who are, especially in this part of the world, we call them laborers, right? Laborers who are working, you know, on sites and the rest of them. So just getting blocked water to them. And I said, okay, I mean, why would they buy, why? I mean, it's a good thing, sounds intelligent, sounds brilliant. I said, but hey, I mean, we already have people providing that service, right? He says, yeah. I said, but my idea is that I wouldn't need, you know, I wouldn't need NAFDAC approval. I wouldn't need, NAFDAC is a regulatory organization in Nigeria, right? I wouldn't need NAFDAC approval. I'll just, you know, take this water directly from a river or stream. That my goal really is for them to, after they've worked very hard, they can use, you know, the block, the water, you know, put it on their muscles and their hands to calm down. And I said, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, it sounds very brilliant, but I can assure you. I said, so how much are you going to sell this? And he says, each of the bag will be about 100 naira. Now, I mean, I said, 100 naira? When someone can buy the water that they would drink for 50 naira. So why would I spend 100 naira to buy the water that I would put on my muscles? I said, my brother, it's not a good product. I'm sorry. Because it sounds to you as though it's solving a problem, but trust me, it's not really solving much of a problem, because I can as well go buy water and drink, right? I'll feel more refreshed to get on my walk, and when I get home, I sleep. And I come back the next day. I mean, that is more refreshing to me than spending twice what I would have used to buy the water I would drink, you know, to buy the water I'll put on my muscles, right? Now, so it's either number one, right? Number one, the kind of product or service that the people are talking about is not necessarily solving a problem. Or number two, right? Number two might just simply be that you are talking about a product or service that is going to be competing in what in the business world is called competing in the red ocean. You know what the red ocean concept is? It's popularized by two professors in America, right? There's the red ocean and the blue ocean. The red ocean talks about a competitive environment. So you talk about, oh, I want to start an airline business. There are lots of airlines already existing. Remember, when you get into that industry, you're going to be competing with these other airlines. Now, you must be doing something different, right? And I'm going to talk about that very soon. You must be doing something different and significant that will make other people look away from the other airlines they're already used to patronize your airline, okay? So people talk about that. So the question is, what is a good product? A good product is a product that the customers think is a good product or service. And the only reason they would think so is simply because you are solving their problem. It's simply because they are solving their problem. So develop a good product or service. That's the very first thing you need to do if you want to attract customers. Make sure your product is good. Make sure your product is good. If it's food, make sure it is healthy food. It is not contaminated food. Make sure your product is good. I've seen lots of people lose customers because their product is not good and they expect people to buy sentimentally. I think it's unfair for you to want people to buy your product or your goods or your services sentimentally. You know, someone comes and say, oh man, I'm a graphics designer.
Say design something, and when the guy designs, the person who you design for is wondering what's this, and ask, say what's this? Say that's Superman. It looks like Batman. I mean, make sure your product is good. Make sure your service is good. I usually tell people this: if your product or your service is good, trust me, people will pay for it. People will pay for it. Now, I know people who bake cakes, and they bake cakes and they charge a particular amount for the cake. And I know people who bake cakes, right? Same cakes, and they charge about 5 times what others would charge for the same cake. And there are people going to patronize them. And you might never really know. If you don't like cakes, you might never really know the difference. But if you like cakes, you taste both cakes, and immediately you know why people will pay 5 times or 6 times more for that cake. Just make sure the product or the service is good, right? If you need to ramp up your ability, your capability, your skill sets, so that you can deliver great service, right? Do it. It's important. Don't be so fixated about, I want to make money at the expense of other people. People are not stupid. Right? Don't make money sentimentally. Make sure you make money objectively. That is the only kind of money that will grow. So number 1, develop a good product or service. Very important. Number 2 way of attracting the kinds of customers that will grow your profits is this. Number 2, make innovation a culture. Make innovation a culture. And I think this is very important, because what is culture? They'll tell you culture is a way of life, isn't it? Culture is a way of life. So make innovation a culture. Make innovation a way of life. That's what I'm saying. Now, what is innovation? Innovation is the ability to make a product or a service, or in some parlances, a process, exist in a faster, a cheaper, a easier, or a better state in serving your customers. That's innovation. Many years ago, if you wanted to use a computer, you would practically enter into the computer. It was extremely massive. It was like a house, right? You'd enter into the computer because you want to use the computer. Now, after a while, some people sat down, thought, then we came up with things called the personal PC. So you had your PC, you had the screen, or what I think the monitor they call it, and then you had the CPU now, right? And after a while, some people thought about it and said, you know what? It's important for people to be able to move around with this solution. So they created something called a laptop. Now people can put a laptop in their bags and they go from one country to another, and they do not lose sleep or lose data or lose time. In fact, while flying in the plane, they can practically walk on their laptop. It was impossible to do that some years back, but with innovation, you're right, it was not possible to do that. Now, some personal phones are as powerful as the laptop people carry around, okay? So, innovation is consistently ensuring that you're making your product, you're making your service to come to your customers in a faster, easier, cheaper way. You're consistently, refining your product, ensuring that your product is experiencing what the Japanese will call kaizen. Kaizen in the Japanese, and it's used by the Toyota company a lot, is called continuous improvement. So they are thinking about consistently, how do I improve my product? How do I make my product better? How do I make my product do the work that is meant to do better, faster, cheaper? How do I do that? That is innovation. And they say the largest room in the world is the room of improvement, right? Now, there is a theory called the diffusion of innovation theory. It was popularized by Everett Rogers. Now, what did Everett Rogers say? He was explaining a concept around how innovation is diffused, in the society. It says how ideas spread, how new technology spread. It says, of course, when you have a new product, innovation happens. right? This is about 2.5% of individuals who are innovators will get on that particular product or service. And then after a while, you have the early adopters, right? And about 13.5% of individuals who fall into that category. They will get on it, they'll begin to try it out. After a while, you have the early majority. More people will begin to try it out. Then you have the late majority. There are some that are always late to the party, okay? And then you have the laggards. It's after everybody are done with that product. They say, oh, what happened? Others have jumped on another innovation cycle. They are just discovering that, oh, something happened some years back. Now, what is the main idea or the main concept that Everett Rogers was trying to teach us through the diffusion of innovation theory? Very simple. The fact that, you see, when you have a new product or a new service, you must be dogged about marketing, about publicity, about talking about that innovation if you want people to jump on that innovation. Customers would always have needs that change. I mean, that's one of the things you will learn about customers. The needs are always changing. I mean, you are a customer to another product or service, right? And your needs are always changing. At times you just want it this way. You want it to come to you faster. You want to not get up and have to go to a supermarket to buy it. You want to just order it and bring it, to wherever you are. I mean, you're always having changing needs, right? And that's the same way the customers of your business, right, expect that you are innovating and thinking about ways that you can provide the product or service to them in a cheaper, better, and easier way. Continuous improvement, that should be the name of the game, and that's extremely important. Who would have thought that the idea of, cameras would even be a viable idea to place on phones? I mean, phones are to make calls and to speak to people. Why would you put a camera there? But you see, some people thought about it and said, you know what, let's improve the product. Let's include a camera. Some people thought about it, let's include apps that you can capture, Word documents, you can capture different things, you can read on, and innovation is consistent with some products. Talk about cars, same thing. Right? Every other person is innovating. Why not you? Number 3, and the final way in this session on how to grow, how to attract customers that grow profit is by prioritizing great customer service. And I cannot say that enough. Prioritizing great customer service. Prioritizing great customer service. And I read you some statistics. Right? It said that 81% of consumers say a positive customer experience increases the chances of them making a repeat purchase. 81%. That means if I experience great customer service, there is a 81% chance that I will go back there again to buy. Think about it. Now, another statistics. 61% of customers say they will stop buying from a company and switch to a competitor after a single bad customer service experience. Think about it. 61%. I mean, I've had people who one bad customer service experience. I remember going to a barber, right? This barber. So a friend of mine told me he had gone there. And my barbershop, the barbershop where I would usually go to was kind of closed at that time. And this other barber was available. So I decided to go to his shop and I got in. And right from when I got in, I told myself, Joshua, you're not coming back here anymore. Why? I got into the shop. I don't know what the smell was. Maybe it was just that day. But I'm sorry, that was the day I came, right? So you don't have two opportunities to make a good first impression, right? So I got it, and the smell, while I was still trying to grapple with what was exactly was smelling, they said, oh, the seat is available. So I came, sat down, and by the time this barber began to work on my head, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd offended the guy before. The way I was hitting my. That was your problem. And after I was done, then he wanted to massage my head with a hot towel. And oh boy, the towel was smelling, man. Was smelling. When he brought the towel, he immediately put it on my head. I said, I'm not coming back here again. Immediately he was done, I paid him. I ran home to go take a bath. And I told myself, I'm not going back there again. Guess what? Just about 4 or 5 days after, another friend of mine said, where did you barb your hair? Have you tried my barber? I said, where's your barber? And he pointed to that guy's shop, described the guy's shop. I said, oh no. It was like a horror movie, right? 61% of customers will not go back. They will go to a competitor because they've experienced bad customer service. Now, 78% of customers will do business with the same company even after a mistake if they experienced good customer service. 78%. So there are some times that, some companies, some things will happen, that, this must have been a mistake. You would excuse them. Why? Because even in the mistake, the way they spoke to you, the way they addressed the matter, that this, you would excuse them. You say, maybe this is a one-off. Maybe they were just having a bad day. You would excuse them. Now, another statistic, 68% of customers would react by telling family and friends about a bad experience by posting it on social media. Yes, 68%. Oh yes, 68%. They will tell family and friends. And I think that statistic should even be more, right? Now, almost 50% of customers claim they will switch to a new brand just after one bad experience. Now, each Facebook profile, I'm reading out these statistics. Why? I'm trying to strengthen the position that great customer service is not an option. It's not an option. You mustn't only think about making money, which is where a lot of business people are. I mean, they make money at all costs, regardless of how the person will feel. Well, you might have made the money today, but trust me, that person might never come back. And if you want to grow your profits, right, you must pay consistent attention to these three things. If you have a great service, you are innovating consistently, and you do not prioritize, right? You do not prioritize great customer service. You do not prioritize great customer service. I can assure you, it's only a matter of time. That business will be obsolete. Now, on an average, each individual has an average of 338 friends, right, on Facebook. On an average. A lot of people have more. Now, imagine what one negative experience can do. It will not only reach those 338 people, it will reach the thousands of people that all of those 338 people are connected to. Now, 1 in 3 customers would gladly pay 15% more for a good customer service. Yes. And 95% of consumers identify excellent customer service as the key to their loyalty towards a brand, spotlighting the direct link between customer service, great customer service, and sustained business growth, right? So, 95%, they say, oh, you know what? I'm going to be loyal to this brand because the customer service is good. And 96% of, right? So, 95%, they say, oh, you know what? I'm going to be loyal to this brand because the customer service is good. And 96% of customers, the last one I'll give you, 96% of customers consider customer service to be a crucial factor when deciding whether to remain loyal to a particular brand or not. Now, this is very, very important, extremely important. What am I trying to say? Customer service is key. You must prioritize great customer service. You must prioritize great customer service. You must prioritize great customer service. Now, Patricia Frick who is a professional keynote speaker, said it this way. She said, it's not your customer's job to remember you. It is your obligation and responsibility to make sure that they do not have a chance to forget you. It is not your customer's judgment. You must be so ingrained in their minds because you gave them great service that they cannot forget you. Very important. People talk about, they come to me and say, oh, Josh, I want to start a business. I want you to work with me in coming up with a fantastic business strategy. You see, any business strategy that ignores great customer service is not a business strategy at all. Because if your people, and I'm talking about the customers, the people who buy from you, all right, are not excited, they cannot tell others about your business. And if they are not telling others about your business, if they are not propagating the good news of your business, it's only a matter of time your business would die. Now, it's interesting to note that Mahatma Gandhi, who was not even a business person, right, was an Indian lawyer and an anti-colonial nationalist and a political activist, right? He said something very important around customer service. He says a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. It is not an interruption in our work. And I like this. And I'm quoting this because lots of times, you go to a business and they treat you, the customer, as an interruption to their work. Like, you are disturbing me. When you are coming to pay, they treat you like you're an interruption. He says, Mahatma Gandhi says, he is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He is not an outsider in our business. He is a part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. Oh, I like this. People treat customers as though, they are doing the customer a favor. Now, you see, don't be deceived by the value that you are creating and delivering. You can have a great product and service. You can be innovating. Once you are not serving people rightly, it's only a matter of time. There will be someone else that will come up and also have a great product and service and will also innovate. What will happen is that people will just simply pot and go to that person, right? So you have a great product, but you will not be making profits. Very important. Don't treat customers as though you are doing them a favor. They are the ones doing you a favor by giving you the opportunity to serve them, right? When a customer complains, listen, he is doing you a special favor. He's giving you another chance to serve him to his satisfaction, right? Or to her satisfaction. You would appreciate the importance of this opportunity when you consider that the customer's alternative option was to desert you for another competitor. So you see, when a customer is complaining, make sure you rectify whatever the issues are. The person is giving you an opportunity to rectify it. Take that opportunity, right? Because customer service is not necessarily a department. Customer service is an attitude. Make sure that no matter how small your business is, begin to think about customer service. For example, you're serving food, you're using your bare hands, just put the food in the plate. Come on. Come on. Prioritize the customer. Use a good neat hand glove, not the one you used last week. You brought out the glove, they can see oil all over it, and you use it to carry. Come on, man. Come on. Right? Prioritize the customer. Respect the customer. Let the customer experience your services with some dignity. I close with these words of wisdom from Zig Ziglar, who was an author and motivational speaker. He said, you can have what you want if you help others get what they want. And I think that summarizes it all. If you want to get profits, right, the truth is that you can get it. But how do you get it? It's not by prioritizing this. It's by prioritizing value, prioritizing innovation, and prioritizing great customer service. Just before we take the questions, I want to announce very special program. It's a training program that we are going to be running very soon. It's titled the Profit Growth Development Program. The Profit Growth Development Program. The Profit Growth Development Program. It's a program you would not want to miss. It's a paid program, right? So we'll pay for it, and trust me, but you'll get the value transcends any amount that you're going to pay. We're going to go deeper into some of the things that we've learned here today and in some other sessions, right? There are lots of principles that govern profit growth. We're going to explore all of those principles, as many as we can, right? And we'll go extremely practical. You'll have exercises. It's going to be mind-blowing, and it's a class taught program, right? But we'd also have a version that you can buy, right, digitally, and access it and benefit from it. So please, when the opportunity presents itself, make sure you take advantage of it. You're going to see it on our various social media platforms. Is that okay? Okay, so let's talk about the questions. Some people sent in questions ahead, so we're just going to answer those questions, and then we'll see how many questions we can take before our time is up. The first question I see is, how do I deal with an irate customer? How do I deal with an irate customer? I understand. So, I've said you should prioritize great customer service, but I also know that some customers can be simply unrealistic about their expectations when dealing with you. All right. This is what I'm going to say. Now, there's a very interesting concept that I believe I live my life by, and I believe that you should live your life by, and as much as run your business by. Is that okay? So there's something we call our the circle of control. So this is our circle of control, right? Okay, and then you have your circle of influence. Okay, so that means if you have a business, you have an entity, an enterprise. There are certain things that influence the way the business is running. However, a lot of times there are certain things that are outside your circle of control. There are some things you can practically control. Now, you cannot control how somebody else chooses to behave to you, okay? Especially if you have done everything right. Now, if you've done something wrong, please, like I said earlier on in the session, learn to apologize, learn to treat people well, learn to take the complaint from the customer as an opportunity to redeem your image, right? And to redeem the image of your brand, okay? Because that customer is giving you feedback so that you can do something about it. Some customers will not even say anything, they'll just walk away, okay? So if it's a feedback, take it, apologize, and rectify it as much as you can. In this part of the world, people complain, and what they are complaining about, just say because you've said sorry, they should understand and go away. In the West, they would not only say sorry, they will say sorry and practically even replace that thing. Yes, I understand that they do that sometimes because they're afraid of a lawsuit and all of that. But hey, the truth is this, right? Whatever it takes to make sure that person is happy, right? And the person lives with a good impression about you, you can do it, and you should do it, right? To sort the problems. But I also understand that there are some customers that after you've done everything you're supposed to do, right? And they just decide to be difficult customers. Okay? You must understand that it's outside your circle of control. You're not responsible for them being irritable, if they are, right? But you can control how you choose to respond to them. So how do you deal with an irate customer? Choose how you will respond. Respond with respect, respond with responsibility. Make sure you look for ways to redeem the situation. Make sure you do what you can to redeem the situation. And if the person is still irate, if at the end of the day you lose that customer, learn from the experience and make sure that if you made a mistake, whatever mistake you made, you don't repeat it with another customer tomorrow. Is that okay? Right? So, that's how you deal with an irate or a difficult customer. Okay. Another question I see on the screen is, what is the difference between customer service and customer experience? Right? What is the difference between customer service and customer experience? Okay. Now, so customer service and customer experience, they are very similar, but I mean they're slightly different. Okay, while customer service is, is when you are serving the customer, right? Okay, so somebody comes to buy a pen from you. That process of saying, oh, you're serving this person. Okay, at that point you're selling this person. That's customer service, basically. So you're selling it because at that moment you want to collect money from the person. You want the person to pay for it. So it's transactional, all right? And it's because the person came to you, you are, selling. So it's reactive in that sense, right? Sometimes, you have a department that manages that. But you see, the truth is this: customer experience transcends that. Customer experience is experiential. It's how you make the person feel. In the process of serving the person, how did you make the person feel, right? And it's proactive, because at that point, it depends on you. It depends on what you want to do. It's not based on what the person is doing or not, right? So is the experience is what you make the person feel. So for example, you're a fashion designer and you make a particular clothes. You see, customer service will be, oh, I've made this clothes, I deliver it to you. You see, I can deliver it to you in a black polythene bag, right? Customer experience would be, I take the clothes, I put it in a proper bag that is branded, I put it in a fantastic packaging, and if I'm sending a delivery person, there is a way I deliver it. So the person receives and is like, wow, what is this? And the person will say, oh, it's my clothes. Wow. The person feels great. You see, that is customer experience. Those are the differences, right? Okay. So the third question, which I think is the last question I'll be able to take today because of our time, how can I ensure that my process are competitive, my prices rather, are competitive in the market? It's a very interesting question. How do you ensure your prices are competitive in the market? I would say number one, just ensure that you find out what your competitors, how much your competitors are selling, a similar product, okay? And then you ensure that you know what the cost of your product is, how much profit do you want to make. Don't be too greedy, okay? And I think that's an important one. Don't be too greedy. Make sure you mark up as much as you can, but make sure you do it in a reasonable way such that your price is competitive enough when they compare to that of your competitors. So if you do the things we've said today, it can have a massive impact on your pricing, right? If you do it right. The one that would be unfair is not to have done the things we said today and you are charging 3 times, 4 times. Nobody will buy from you. I won't buy from you. You need me to buy from you. All right, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. Based on the time, so sorry. That's how much time we have and how many questions we can take. But please, like I said earlier, all of the questions, just keep typing in and throwing in your questions. And you can see in the chat section, there's an email address there. If you have more questions, please send it to that email. And please, I want to answer your questions. Is that okay? I want to answer your questions. And I will answer your questions. So I'll take all the questions. Just follow us on all our social media handles, on Instagram, on Twitter or X, Follow us on Facebook, and you would see on LinkedIn, you'll see the answers to your questions there, okay? And make sure you look out for the Profits Growth and Development Program, the advert for it. It's coming out soon. It's going to be paid for, but trust me, it's going to be worth every penny that you're going to pay for it. Thank you so much, and see you on the 1st of June for the Business Leadership Masterclass. Thank you. I really appreciate you spending time with me. Have a great night rest if you're in this part of the world, and if you are in another part of the world, well, good afternoon, good morning. I'm glad you joined us today. See you in June rather. Till then, make sure you're growing the profits of your business through ensuring that your products are great, ensuring that you're innovative, and you're delivering great customer service. Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye.